Hi there and welcome to Bustthenet. This is the show I like to call Getting Started With. We're off to Moscow. Yes, Spartak Moscow specifically, Russian Premier League. Is the first time I'm going to Russia, and I want to thank all the people on YouTube who requested this show. I'm actually kind of excited. This is the first time I'm doing one in Russia. And yeah, this is going to be fun. But leagues like Russia, there's a different twist. It's not like England. It's not like Spain, Portugal, France. None of these leagues. Um, when you're managing a club in leagues like Russia, your focus has to be squarely on making money. So you want to be a club that goes from secure to rich as quickly as possible. In order to do that, you have to develop your players. You're going to have to sell your players. You're going to have to invest back into the club. But you don't invest in the facilities just yet. So if you're looking at the club facilities, they're not bad and great, blah, but there's so much room for growth. But if you go in there now and you tell them you want to invest, you're in trouble. What you want to do is you want to aim to make a profit of between 5 to 10 million. So 5 million can get you the first upgrade. Then you're looking at 10 million when by the time you become state of the art. So you need to be running a profit of 10 million for state of the art facilities for your academy. So your numbers to hit are 5 and 10. And how do you do that? Well, there are two ways of doing it. First, you win the Champions League. That's not going to be easy, right? So let's put that on the back burner. That's never going to, let's just be realistic. 4 seasons is when we can expect to be maybe getting into the Champions League later stages. For now, though, getting into the Champions League, there's some money from there. It's not enough. But what we really want to do is tag on clauses to our player transfers so that when they are sold on, we make profit from them. So you're looking at tagging on percentage of next sale clauses all the time to every single player that you sell. So your goal right now has to be to look for talent in Russia, bring them into the club, develop them, bring them into the first team as quickly as possible, get them playing games, get them noticed, track all Russian players in Russia, have a kind of a screen flow, which is pretty easy to do. You go to FM preferences, come here to interface. You got screen flow here. Select the competition, and in basically you want to go to Russia. You want to look at the Russian under 18 cup and the under 18 division. So we add that one, and then we add another screen. We go to Russia again. Then we look at the under 18 division. Then we add another one. We add one last one for Russia. The under 21s is fine. You can also include like world competitions in Europe. So we got like the European Youth Under 19 Championship. You can add like the under 19 qualifyings. You got the under 20 elite leagues. You're looking at all these. So these are the things that you want to try. You can try as many as you want. But then once you try these will appear in your news. Because when it comes to youth, kind of you want to make money from youth saves, you got a plan. So you got to set everything up in your user interface for you to be able to do that before you even do the rest of the stuff. So now we're looking at then the second step is to go to all your coaches, right? So here we got room, right? So the coaching team is understaffed with the under 21s. We want to make sure that we add some more coaches. You're looking at improving. Personally, when I'm playing, possession, attacking, and fitness. I want to get 4 stars in this. So we're gonna have to look for coaches for this area. Under 18s is already staffed quite strongly here in this team, so there's no need to go in and work on this just yet. Then you got a Spartak M2. I don't think you can your M2 squad you have any control over them. What you want to do is you want to make sure that some of these players get a chance to play in your main team, right? So if they got like here, I've got a player that's got so much potential, I would probably move into the main team and give him exposure in some of the games. Now, this other player, he's a bit slow, but we can also put him on move him into the main team and give him specific training to improve his acceleration, because as you can see, he's got a lot of potential ability, superb rating for the senior team. He should be able to fit into our long-term plans. And here we got another player, Lomovisky, another player that we should target. So we got these 3 players. If it was me, I will come one. I can do it this way. You can 1, 2, 3. All these 3 players, including this guy, are going to be moved into the first team so that we can give them a chance of playing games and also to monitor their training and development. Then when we now the Spartak M2 team might need more players. So from the under 18 team, I will just move this group into the M2 big team as well. So if you look at their schedule, the B team has got matches that they're going to be playing, so it's okay. So they will be playing some matches in the B team. So here, the schedule for the under 18s isn't very. There's no schedule for the under 18s, so we'll take all this group of all these players and move them to the M2 squad. So now we've done all that. We've got our under 21s. And we've got a couple of players that we want to look at in the main team. Now, the second thing that we do is we look at the staff in the club and see what we can do. Right. So I'm looking at training for the staff, coaches. Again, we want long-term development. My goal really is to make sure that we either get an attacking coach, a possession coach, and a fitness coach. We got room for 3, so that's what you should be doing. You should be going out there to get a coach for all 3 categories. Once you have a coach for all 3 categories, you're set for the next thing you need to do. The next thing you need to do is probably going to be pretty simple. You're going to be looking at your team and trying to analyze how they fit against the rest of the league. Now, don't get too happy when you see these kind of things. Acceleration is 12, 13. It's fantastic, but we have a long-term goal for this club. Jumping reach is only 12, 13. They play in Europe. They're going to be found out, so they're not going to be great in the air. Nearly every other team is going to hit a goal. So we definitely want to develop players. The moment we find one youngster who's got jumping reach of about 16, we're going to treat him like God's goal. So we're going to worship the guy and bring him through the tiers. So this is going to be important for our players. Positioning is not that bad for mentals for this team. I think it's not that bad. Yeah, positioning is about 12, 13. So it's okay because this team is on the higher end of the tier for the Russian Premier League. But what we want to do is we want to develop the players so that numbers actually shoot up. So we want to be the best team in every category in about 3 seasons. So we know what we have to develop in the long term. So which is jumping reach for our central defenders, positioning for our central defenders. Okay, what about our midfielders and our midfielders? We're looking at off the ball, right? So off the ball, fairly good team running about. They're pretty okay. Concentration, almost their attributes are pretty high. Pretty solid. 13 for work rate is still half decent. And then we're looking at our strikers, mentals, off the ball for our strikers. Also pretty decent, 14 above average. Teamwork, work rate, they're a very strong team. Technically, the strikers, heading is not too bad. Crossing, finishing is a bit on. This is the reason why I want to get an attacking coach. We want to work on those attributes like finishing, crossing, dribbling. These are all going to be important attributes. Now, as far as their physicals are concerned, acceleration for the strike force is about 14, 15 is about average. Okay, so we kind of know the number. The number in this league is about 13 to 14, right? So it's pretty common across Europe. Then when we look at our squad, then we begin our analysis of our team. And this is where things start getting interesting. Okay, so we've got this team. The first thing I notice is they need a central defender. Okay, we got one main player who's injured, Ilya Kutupov. He's out for a while. He's the best central defender that they have, and he's not going to be available until nearly the end of the season. Then we've got foreigners. Now, the thing here is that there's a cap of 6 foreign players in the matchday squad. So this guy is probably going to fill the cap, but his tackling is pretty poor. Then we've got Georgi Jikia, who can play as a left back and a central defender. Jumping reach is about 14. Definitely can play. He's probably going to play in the middle. He does tend to dive into tackles, which is a bit scary. Then this guy is ineligible because he's been playing for the unders. So he's out. Let me filter, make sure that we don't have any youth players here. We got another foreigner here, so that's another player who can play. Is a bit slow, but his jumping reach is about 13. In terms of fullbacks, you've got quite a few. You got some decent fullbacks in this club. Pretty decent. So a category that you want to look at is definitely the defender category. So you definitely need to go out there and start scouting for central defenders. Now, when I look at the defensive midfielders, this club is fine in the defensive midfield department. There's no real problem with most of the central defenders because most of the defensive midfielders are okay. Decent positioning of 13-13. Most of them also have they're all right. I won't say they're the best, but most of them can be expected to fulfill their roles to some extent. We literally have like one holding player here. His name is Roman Zobnin, and we've got another player who can play as a Carrerello. He doesn't have fantastic off the ball, but he's decent enough to play in that position. We also have Glushahov. I don't know how you pronounce this guy's name. He gets into opposition area. He tends to attack the box. Okay, not bad. Definitely a game changer because when you bring him on as a substitute, it's Carrerello. He's a Carrerello that's going to get forward. So definitely an option. So we've got other players like Fernando. This guy is not really a holding player as such. More, he could play as a Mazzala or a playmaker. So if you're looking to create a system, we have Mazzalas here in this team. There are more than one player who can play the role of a Mazzala in this team. Then we have wide players. So we know now the issue is a central defender. The second issue that this team has is actually in the attacking department. Frankly speaking, you've got Luis Adriano, who's probably going to be your first choice striker for nearly every single game that you play. Right? He moves into the channels, he shoots with power and comes deep to get the ball. Then we have Zé Luis. Now Zé Luis is okay. He isn't that bad, but I think that he is wanted by some clubs. Yeah, he's wanted by some of these clubs. The question about Zé Luis is his finishing isn't fantastic. His composure isn't fantastic. He gets into the box and probably, he can play as a playmaker of sorts, attacking playmaker, maybe a half decent target man who can pass the ball. So we could play him as a target man in a 2. But honestly, I would sell him. I would get whatever money I can from him and just be happy that, to let him go if I get the chance to. If somebody comes in with a good offer, I would sell him and tag on some value to it, tag on a clause to him to hope to, we can hope to get some more money in the long run. So then we've got Pedro Rocha. So what this club needs to do is when you're managing this club, immediately you're going to have to think about another striker. So it's a defender and a striker that you have to go out for. So when we come to their player search, so what I would recommend is going out there, finding players who are interested in a transfer or a loan signing, bringing them into the club. First preference has to be Russian players. This is what I would do. I would definitely go for nationality Russian. And I would drop everything down to see whether I can find any players who can fit the bill. Now, the idea here is for us to go out there and loan some of these players or to sign them on a free transfer. So you start building up a short list over time. And we don't want their ages to be too high. So one of the expectations the board has for you is going to be pretty interesting because the board expects you to win the Russian Premier League. So you're going to come in there as Spartak Moscow and you have to win the title along with reaching the final of the Russian Cup and getting to the group stages of the Champions League. So pretty tall order here and you're going to have to start preparing. And this means that you're going to look at trying to add to your squad and strengthen your team as much as you can. Introduce yourselves to the squad. I want to take my opportunity. I think we can win the title. Sort of reaction you're after. So if the board expects you to win the title, there's a good chance the players expect you to win the title as well. You can, personally, I would have an intra squad friendly if only because I've never played in Russia before. So I don't even know how they stack up. So it's not a bad idea. As far as the training is concerned, you want to go out there. You want to focus training on your players, making sure that endurance is a important category that you're working on in preseason. So we have gone in and we have set heavy early for preseason training. As far as tactics are concerned, I'm gonna use a tactic I have used before, which is a 4-1-2-2-1. Probably the Staley Blitz 4-1-2-2-1 here. I'll probably use him as a target man is fine, I guess. Mazzala attack Carrillo. Yeah, we can use something like this. This is the tactic that we'll use. Set pieces. You want to also work on your set pieces, making sure your set pieces are set up correctly. And that would be how I would set up their preseason so that we get a chance to try the players out, try them in the system, and then after that, observe how it goes. Ruben informed me that Diego Sorovin. So we are also looking for centre backs, especially in the rest of the league. They don't want to sell. A lot of the clubs don't want to sell centre backs. I'm not surprised. His contract expires May 2021. I identified this player as a potential signing for the club. Unfortunately, Rubin do not want to sell him, so let's make another offer. With a team like Spartak Moscow, you've got generally two ways you can go with this team. You could either opt to go with a 4-3-1-2, which we have played, and you can also play with a 4-1-2-2-1. This team is pretty strong, and you definitely have options around the pitch for players to play in these positions. In the target man position, you got Zay Lewis. You could also play Luis Adriano because it's just a focus for passes to get to a player. Out wide, you've got Tashayev, you got Pedro Rocha, you got Samedov on the right flank, as well as the extremely talented Sofian Hani. So plenty of options here. You can play Popov here, or you can play Fernando here. This is literally Gulashakov's position, so don't move him, leave him here. He's going to be a very dangerous Carrillo. And then in the halfback position, you can play Zobnin or you can play Timofeev, rather, this player. So, and then in the wingback positions, you've got a couple of wingbacks here in this club, so no problems. In defense, we went and put some money down and went after this player. We purchased for about 2 million, 2+ million, as a backup defender who's okay. I won't say he's great, but at least you have cover in the defender position. If you were to play with a 4-3-1-2, then according to the ass man, he'd prefer to start with Adriano here. Actually, I would change him. I'll play Zay Lewis as the target man, Luis Adriano here, Hani here. Hani, Popov can play here. You can play Fernando here, Zobnin, Gulashkov. You've got a lot of players who can play in this position. You got Hani, you got Samedov, you got Popov. Yes, the list is a long list of players who can play in this position. Zobnin can play here, Timofeev can play here, you can Gulashkov can play here. The Mazzala position can also be occupied by their fullback. They've got a fullback who's not too bad, Melgarajo. He can also play in that position if you need to, so you can push him there if shit hits the fan. Okay, so as far as we are concerned, well, we've played quite well. We beat Lokomotiv Moscow 3-1 using the 4-1-2-2-1. Nice goals from Fernando, Sofian Hani. Pretty standard win over Sovetov as well, 4-2 here with the 4-1-2-2-1. Sofian Hani's opening goal wasn't that bad. It was okay. It's one of the goals. Yeah, I kind of like some of the goals that we're scoring here. We'll have to watch this with TV view. Okay, so Fernando gets the ball. And then Tashayev plays it to Fernando, picks up, and Hani just smashes that ball into the back of the net. So that was our first goal. I think our second goal was also very interesting, right? So off a throw here, Denislov, they actually had the ball. They tried to attack. They didn't do such a good job of attacking us. Zotov going down, trying to penetrate our defense with a 4-1-2-1, fairly The defense is fairly comfortable playing a 4-1-2-2-1. You've got here we have Timofeev playing as the halfback, Gigo as well as Boschetti. He's not a bad fullback, but you've got one more better fullback, Yashenko, on the bench. So you put Adriano as a target man. Look at the way they pass the ball. Hani gets by, then crosses the ball. Adriano finishes the move. There were some moves that are like 20 to 30 passes involved, and then they unlocked the side against Lokomotiv Moscow. So we played the same system. Fernando scoring a goal, Sofian Hani scoring 2 goals. We went to Ajax, played with the 4-1-2-2-1 against Ajax, and Ajax couldn't really penetrate us defensively, solid with the 4-1-2-2-1. And then against Orenburg, I decided, okay, fine, let's try the 4-3-1-2. So Zay Luis was having quite a fun time. I think one of his goals was from a corner as well. So this highlight here, you can see Yashenko. This is my preferred fullback. Plays to Zobnin. Hani played it out to Yashenko. Yashenko goes on the line, crosses one. He doesn't get clear. Zobnin finds the pass for. He takes a shot, and then Zay Luis picks up the pieces. Nice having 2 strikers inside the box. And I think this was another move here. This Popov, another Mazala I like. Then we got Hani playing as the AP. Then Zobnin out wide. He will find Yashenko, who's my first choice for fullback. He crosses. Zay Luis takes it down at the chest and scores. Nice. Right. Then we played against Ajax at home. And this match, we were actually down in the 54th minute. And we actually kept on playing with the same shape. We just played 4-2-1-2. Right. Instead of 4-3-1-2, we just played 4-2-1-2. We didn't change. I mean, it was like at that point before we had a player sent off, it was like what, 13 shots on goal. Ajax had 1 shot on goal. Having the player sent off didn't make much of a difference to us. We still were totally and completely dominant in this game. We played quite well, I think, in this match. The 4-3-1-2 was very solid. Here we've got off a set piece rather. So this is like a throw in. They clear the danger. They bring Tadic. Tadic goes off. He decides, well, we're going to try and score something here. The Dutch, Huntelaar. One of the reasons I was very confident with a 4-3-1-2 against the Dutch is because the Dutch have a slow attack, right? If they're going to depend on Huntelaar, the whole attack is going to fall apart. So if I was very confident that we could handle the Dutch. So here we go. We are passing the ball happily. Hani out to Yashenko, my favorite. And then he drops one right onto the head of Luis Adriano. Perfect cross. Luis Adriano scoring beautifully. And then Adriano had a second goal that was very nice. Rebrov here from the back. Now what is he going to do? He's going to roll this out to Boschetti. And then plays it to Kombarov. And plays it to... This is when we still had 11 players. So, I'm only showing you goals that come from 11 players. I'm not going to bother with the extra. So Yashenko has the ball now. My favorite fullback right now in the game, because this guy's crossing is something else. All right, so let's watch Yashenko's cross. He comes in and then he winds up the cross. Now, what the hell are you doing crossing from there? According to people, this doesn't happen in the game. Yep, it happens. Okay, so Yashenko has got options because we were playing pass into space. We were leading by 1 goal. And I knew that they had to come back, right? So they had to attack us. So I took the same tactic. I just added pass into space. Yashenko is actually playing a pass into space. So there he goes. And we gotta take another look at this goal. Behind the goal, because I was watching this goal a couple of times, right? So okay, so I liked it. I liked it. You guys gotta watch it too. Okay. So he goes there and Adriano chests the ball down and goes around the keeper. I mean, that's supposed to be rounding the keeper. So our second goal. Easily then, our team has... this team has done quite well with both tactics. So if you're going to be playing this team, you can play a 4-3-1-2. You definitely can play a 4-1-2-2-1 with CSK Moscow. I would recommend one or the other, or maybe even both if you feel particularly like you want to develop both these strikers. Zay Lewis is a very good target man, Louis Adriano, which means that you got to take a long-term view of getting more strikers in. This is my money bags tactic, right? This is the tactic I use when I want to make lots of money, because I'm very, very certain I'll make a lot of money because my strikers will score a lot of goals. So since I used Zay Lewis in this one, they score a lot of goals. They put 3 past Ajax, no reply. They put 3 past Orenburg, no reply, and both the strikers were getting in on the action. And here you want to ask these two boys to close down more. You got to move into channels for the attacking playmaker. Got a Mazzala. This role can be a carrier role, can be a Mazzala. I personally like the Mazzala because I'm not using the fullback to give me a lot of width. If I use Carriello, it's possible. Can you use a DLP in this position? I wouldn't really recommend it, but I would recommend somebody who's more holding. Then if you have a more holding role here, Carriello, BWM, CM support, then this guy can actually be unleashed, because Kombarov is actually half decent going forward. So it's not that bad as well. He definitely can put in a cross. Then if you want a more defensively minded player, you have players in the club who are defensively minded who can easily slot into this position. Then on the right flank we got Yashenko is my first choice. I really like him. I don't know why. He's 34 years old, but each time he goes up, I feel like we're going to score a goal. Each time Yashenko is forward, I think we're going to score a goal. So we got a wing back on attack, no PPMs, and then we got Mazzala, CMD, ball winning midfielder, AP, bam, bam, bam. Okay, so this is the Spartak 4-3-1-2. I wouldn't play Pedro Roca here because he doesn't suit the tactic. Preferred choice would be Tashayev, because even though he doesn't run wide with the ball, he's still pretty much of a threat down the left flank. You got other players here like Pedro Roca who can play there. Even Kombarov can play further forward with Malgaraggio. So these two players can definitely play here. Malgaraggio is a very interesting choice for this position as well, because he cuts inside from both wings and he runs with the ball often, so he's another option. But when you use Malgaraggio, you got to think about the 6 foreign player rules. As far as other player traits are concerned, I only have like stay wider on this guy. For some reason I put it there. Then winger close down more, tackle harder, Mazzala, Carriello. I want him to stay wider, but when he gets the ball he'll cut inside. Fullback support, takes furious, dribble less, and then we got wing back here with simple player instructions as well. So, well, that's it. So this team, I've given Spartak Moscow the full treatment. Gone in there because I was kind of fascinated by this club, especially with the fact that they have to play champions. They have to actually qualify for the Champions League, and I was very curious to see how we play against Ajax. Well, Ajax stood no chance against the Russian Giants, and the Russian Giants just slapped Ajax around like they weren't even much of a they weren't much of a threat. So next match is going to be more interesting. They're going to play Benfica, but I would still approach it the same way. I will look at the Benfica side first and see what they have lined up. If they have a fast attack, then I'll play with a 4-1-2-2-1. If they have a slow attack, I'll play with a 4-3-1-2. Well, I hope you enjoyed this edition of Getting Started With. This has been the edition where we've gone to Russia. If you have any questions, please look me up on Twitter at Bustthenet or addicted2fm.com, my website. Once again, I'd like to thank all my patrons for their continued support of this channel. You make these kind of shows possible for the rest of the community. You guys take care. Have a good one. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.